Hello, and welcome to a presentation about informed consent for 3.1 of the personal trainer course. Now, informed consent is very straightforward, and it's basically about the client is aware that there is risk to exercise, and it protects you, the trainer, from liability should something go wrong and the client get injured or some other health problem develop. So let's have a look at a typical form. This one is, there are various forms of informed consent around, and you're probably best placed to develop your own in your induction document that's suitable to your own circumstances and the nature of your business. But basically, the client needs to be aware of risk. Now, there are many aspects of exercise that are not risky, but some are, particularly involving free weights, and possibly the client not being aware of underlying health problems, or perhaps being dishonest about them, because some people will want to go to the gym and just sort of brush things under the carpet. They won't be honest with you about issues such as chest pain. Also, when it comes to weights, machines tend to be pretty safe, and cable work as well. But free weights, of course, you can drop them on your toe, and there are aspects to free weights that are not, that could be dangerous. For example, if you are lifting a barbell overhead and you fall over, you could actually injure yourself quite badly. So let's look at this informed consent form on the computer here. This one is from Rehab Gym, and it's basically, you don't want to terrify the client into thinking, oh my God, I'm going into something incredibly dangerous. You need to be fairly relaxed about it, but you need to make sure that they understand the risk. So, for example, on this form here, it says, participation is entirely voluntary. And 2, before I engage in any activity, I will complete my health history form, as well as an evaluation with a physical therapist or athletic trainer to determine my risk of participating in exercise, as well as areas that need to be addressed in my exercise program. That's fairly elaborate. I mean, what will normally happen is that the client will do the PAR-Q, and you'll also get a sense of their health from talking to them and observing them through the fitness test, observing them through the flexibility assessment. You'll get a feel for how healthy they are from observing them on a treadmill, observing them doing free weights and so on. If they start to go red-faced, if they show obvious clumsiness, then you will need to adapt accordingly. But hopefully they will have filled out the PAR-Q accurately. But if you get any sense of illness, chest pain, difficulty breathing, then you should basically refer the client back to the GP. The GP's note is really actually very desirable in these circumstances. In fact, an informed consent form is probably a little bit worthless without one. But you need not go overboard, and you need to make it clear. The principle is that the client understands the risks and he's being responsible. For example, here on number 3, I understand that the possibility exists that certain changes may occur during exercise. They may include muscular strains, sprains, delayed onset muscle soreness, abnormal blood pressure, fainting, disturbances of heart rhythm, and very rare instances of heart attack. All of which sounds quite alarming, but some of this, increased heart rate is going to be, it's obviously going to happen because it happens during exercise. You'll be aware of their blood pressure because hopefully you'll have taken it. Strains and sprains, if you're guiding them correctly, they shouldn't really get strains and sprains, but they will certainly, if they're new to exercise, get delayed onset muscle soreness. You should assure them that it's routine and it goes away after a couple of days. It's just a sign basically of a really good workout. But if it's really painful, then something's wrong and you need to act. Number 4 is important here because you tell the client the signs to indicate that they understand that they can minimize the risk of adverse changes occurring during exercise by adhering to the exercise guidelines. And of course, you need to watch out for a client who doesn't warm up or cool down. Now, some people don't like warming up and cooling down, they just want to get on with it, but you have to make them understand that warming up and cooling down are very important to prepare the muscles for exercise and to prevent blood pooling in the lower limbs after a strenuous exercise session. So we're not frightening the client with the informed consent form, but what we are doing is looking to the positives, which is that the client must understand that it's very likely in a client who has underlying good health that nothing will occur from exercise in terms of bodily change